All right, welcome back to another episode of Lockdown Sports. It's the Lakers, it's the Nuggets, it's the Western Conference Finals. It's LeBron James proving Skip Bayless right
The
again on
GOAT.
who the GOAT is. John, how are you feeling about the game, mate?
Yeah, game one was quite interesting. Wasn't able to watch a lot of it, but Nuggets got out to a big lead in the first half. Lakers brought it back in the fourth quarter. It was a great game to watch.
Now, we actually did watch the game here and there, and I've been able to catch up with it after work. Jono, you don't really tell the audience that you haven't watched the game that we're about to review.
We're
But
honest.
anyways,
We're honest.
no, not here, not here. But I think we talked about it last night when before the game. We're sort of thinking what's going to decide this series. And to me, the question has always been for this NBA playoffs: when will LeBron decide to take over? And it seemed to me, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but with this sort of stat line, LeBron was looking for it today. Not, I don't know if it was part of their plans, but when they were down, he knew it was his responsibility to take the shot a lot more than the Grizzlies series, a lot more than the Warriors series.
Yeah, definitely. He did start to put his imprint on the game in the second half because they were down a lot. But I'd also say Anthony Davis, he went off today, especially he had a slow start today in the first quarter, but he led them, especially offensively today. So I think he was the main part of the comeback.
We talk about it a lot with Anthony Davis, the inconsistencies. During the regular season, started off as an MVP caliber sort of player and sort of drifted away with injuries
Yeah.
and the Lakers' inconsistencies before the deadline. What do you think AD needs to do this series if the Lakers are going to win?
He's going to play well every single game, especially with his matchup this series against the Joker. Is looking like the best player in the world right now. AD's got to turn up every single game. He can't do what he did in the first round and turn up game 1, 3, and 5 and not turn up game 2, 4, and 6. He's got to be every game against the Joker. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can do that.
Do you have any doubts? I know the Warriors tried many times with AD to get him out onto the perimeter. Do you have any doubts with how holistic, and that's the only word I can describe this Nuggets offense, they'll do whatever they have to do. Okay, it doesn't matter where they need to take the shots from. It doesn't matter who needs to get touches on the ball. They'll do what needs to be done to get the best opportunities for the team.
Yeah.
Do you see AD struggling with that? I know we'll talk about the adjustments the Lakers made, but do you see that for this series at least being a problem for AD?
No, I don't see it as a problem for AD. A lot of the time, he might be on Jokic or playing as a help defender off to help on Jokic. And Jokic doesn't hang around the three-point line that much. So AD should be in the paint, which is where his strength is. When he's there, he's probably the best defensive player in the world.
Those are brave words coming from a man who wanted an MVP depoy Joel Embiid. So, a lot of praise now. This stuff, regular season, 82 games. I didn't hear one peep. But now it's showtime. Now that the lights are bright, you know who's actually good. Anyways, now we touched on it there. This idea of help defense. We've seen it with Giannis guarding Bruce Brown in the playoffs against the Nets a couple of years back. We've seen it so many times with Giannis in general. And you see AD take on this role with Rui Hachimura on Jokic as a primary defender. How do you feel about that? And I have a few concerns with how the Nuggets sort of approached it. But how do you feel about using AD as this sort of help presence like Robert Williams was in the Celtics series?
It's the perfect strategy, and it's something I spoke to you about a couple of days ago as well. I was thinking they had to use LeBron, but Hachimura today was amazing, holding his own against Jokic, just bodying him. That's all you got to do. And then you got AD as a help defender, and he played the passing lane as well between himself and Gordon perfectly.
Now, you talk about being able to help off Aaron Gordon. Now, it was a lot easier today because he wasn't really standing there on the corner, PJ Tucker style.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things all the analysts will say. You need to create that distance. You need to create that space for Jokic to get to work. And then it becomes an actual question mark, right, for Anthony Davis. Do I go? Do I stay? And I also look at that the other way. Jokic wants to do a lot of his work close to the rim where it's easy to help.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm saying take him out to the rim, get Jokic's touches a bit further away from the rim. closer to that 3-point line, maybe that'll do it as well.
Yeah, they could still play with the same adjustment they made today if he does that. I'd say let him take tough shots over Hachimura from the perimeter. If he comes into the paint, 80 will be there. It worked really well for them. We'll see how the Nuggets adjust in game 2 and 3 and 4 and see where we go from there.
Yeah, I'm excited, man, because it's the first time in a few years we've seen the Nuggets. We've seen the Nuggets with the full roster. You know, there's been this idea. There's been this idea for the last couple of years. Will they ever get back to it? And you finally see a full roster, stronger than the rosters you've seen before, because Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, they're ready. They're ready to take on their responsibility as role players, and a really empowered role player team here. You know, you've got Caldwell Pope previously on the Lakers there as well.
Yeah.
These are the guys empowered to take the tough shots when Jokic, when Jamal are faced with these extreme defensive situations.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see, because this was a repeat. This is the repeat of the series from the bubble 3 years ago. There's 2 major changes. KCP has gone from the Lakers to the Nuggets, and the Joker is now a 2-time MVP. So,
you know, and Dwight Howard is in Taiwan, for those of you wondering. But when we talk about Nikola Jokic, and this was the criticism, you know, that ultimately, in my opinion, stopped him from winning his 3rd MVP, along with the fact that, you know, they secured the 1st seed and he stopped trying and playing in general. The defensive side of his game, a lot of question marks from the media.
Yeah.
The analytics, some would say, suggest it's the opposite. He is actually a plus defender. For me, I think that's more of a conversation on how good the offense is, that defense is inherently harder, inherently easier, for the Nuggets. But when you look at Jokic's game, do you see the Lakers taking advantage of him? Because you know LeBron James, you know what he wants to do.
Yeah.
He wants mismatches all the time. Do you see this as a problem for Jokic in the series?
100%, yeah. Looking at the box score here, I can see that Jokic got 2 blocks today, but they were early in the game. I'm not sure how they came about. But Jokic is certainly a below-average defender. He doesn't contest many shots at the rim. He was in the bottom 5, I believe, this year in terms of shot percentage at the rim for centers. And he's very slow-moving with his feet as well. And LeBron, as we know in the playoffs, he's a mismatch hunter. So that's something he'll look to target. Him and AD as well. AD is a force in the paint. So it's really going to be interesting to see how the Nuggets help Jokic in defense, because it's going to create openings and open shots for other players as well for the Lakers.
You touched on it there, and size is definitely a way to get at Nikola Jokic, especially with the speed of LeBron and AD. But I look at the likes of Schroeder, Austin Reeves, I look at the likes of D'Angelo Russell, and eventually, you know, they did start with this really small lineup, but they did tend to go bigger. Do you see them using that ultra small lineup? I know they got blew out today. I know, obviously, it didn't work in the first half of the game, but do you see that being a possibility? Because without D'Angelo Russell in this team, in terms of a perimeter creator and someone that can take Jokic off the dribble, I don't really see that as much with the Lakers, and I don't think that's really their...
They've got Dennis Schroeder who can do that. He's very good at driving, though. I wouldn't stick with the 3-guard lineup for the start of game 2, looking at how well Hachimura played against Jokic in that 4th quarter today. I would have to start Hachimura in game 2. But yeah, it's all about adjustments in the playoffs, as most coaches know, not Doc Rivers. But yeah, it's going to be a real tight series. It's going to be a big battle between the coaches, and it's all about the matchups. AD and Jokic, LeBron and Gordon, and how the guards play against Jamal Murray as well for the Lakers. It's going to be a great watch.
I think we'll leave it there, fellas. Game 2 predictions, John, at Denver. What are you saying?
Lakers by 5-10.
I don't know. I believe in the MVP, you know, and I can't wait
for the legacy
talk.
He's not in the playoffs anymore.
I can't, you know what I mean. I can't wait for the legacy talk, because if LeBron loses, it's legacy talk. If LeBron wins but doesn't take the last shot, it's legacy talk. Yeah. If LeBron does a lot of things right, but one slight thing wrong, if he didn't cut his nails in the morning, it's legacy talk. And I'm ready, popcorn out. I'm just ready to enjoy. Anyway, stay tuned, stay locked in, fellas. We'll be back soon with another video. Ciao. I think that was good.